Welcome, y'all. I'm Ilise Benun of marketing-mentor.com, and this is the very first office hours for the Simplest Marketing Plan for 2025. And I am thrilled that y'all are here. And I want to welcome everyone who's here for the first time. Are you ready to make new business friends? So, with that said, I'm going to introduce my good friend, Terri Trespicio. Now, Terri is one of my favorite people, and we started off as business friends, actually, and she will tell the story of how we met when I was giving a talk 10 years ago now, it turns out, in New York. But then we became fast friends and we've collaborated on projects whenever we could because we just love working together. That's the whole point of having good business friends is that you love working together and you get to do things together. And it just makes this business thing so much more fun. So, Terri, thank you so much for kicking off the new year with us.
Thank you. What a
And,
pleasure.
and why don't you, because I didn't tell anyone what you do, I just gave
Yeah.
my introduction that doesn't say anything about you, but only about how I feel about you.
I've always done basically a similar thing, but as you know, as business owners and freelancers, there's a way you just position it to make sure the right people know what you do. Because if I just give you a bunch of things like a brand consultant, a workshop leader, it means nothing. But I'll tell you that over the past few years, I've been honing in, taking my background as an editor and writer coming from the world of publishing and copywriting into the world of online entrepreneurship and saying, like you probably ask yourself, what is the thing that lights me up right now? Like, how do I want to use this thing? And what I'm excited about in 2025 is really focusing in on my freelancing and business owner friends, people who have been doing a thing for a long time. They know they're really good at doing it. And they're going, okay, but why can't I be on a stage? Why can't I be writing about it? Am I expert enough here? Of course, yes, you are. But there's a step that goes from new to a thing to doing a thing and then teaching or contributing at a higher level that I find most people in our situation eventually want to do. Right. And so that's the job is I have workshops, programs, all kinds of consulting where I'm always trying to help someone articulate who they are and get it down in a way because we can't, as they say, read our own label, right, from the inside. And so in a range of things, workshops where you will develop and work on that and sharpen your own writing skills to that end, always with an eye toward helping you access creative genius so you can position what you do. So that's what I do. And
Beautiful.
I'm a love a hot mic, man. You give me a hot mic. That's why I keep it on my desk.
Yes,
How
tell
we
the
met?
story of how we met, how we became fast business friends.
Well, someone basically who I used to be very tight with. We're not friends anymore. That happens. Uh, she said, "Don't ask questions. Go see Ilise Benun. She's going to go be doing a brown bag lunch for this networking group I'm part of, Women's Media Group." So I showed up and sat there and was like interested in everything she was saying. I felt like she was talking to me. Well, there's only about, maybe 20 of us there talking about what it means to market your business, to position it. I had so many questions that she's like, why don't you and I talk separately? And thus I hired Ilise. I hired her. I was like, I want to work with you and get a sense of how your brain works. How do we see our worlds going? That's how a lot of this stuff happens, right? We business friends, we either meet at a conference or someone hires the other and all of that.
And the one thing I want to point out there also is that I was doing content marketing, right? Speaking at giving a brown bag lunch at a networking event is content marketing. So all of y'all who are
Was
already
content.
doing
Mhm.
speaking know that this is one of the best ways to do content marketing and to meet the best people and to position yourself as an authority. And Terri, you've really done a lot of that. And it sounds like that's what you're uh, doing more of
Yes,
with your new pitch.
because you're all experts and you're
Mhm.
all authorities in it. But sometimes you think, well, I'm not an expert because I'm not A on TV, B have a zillion dollars. That is not what makes an expert, right? But I will tell you this. I really liked Elise a lot. I just inherently respected and trusted her. We weren't cozy friends in the beginning. That's not how friendships go, right? But after we were talking and stayed in touch, someone dropped out of the lineup at How Design Live. It's 2015. I'm wishing I could do more speaking. I have no idea how I'm going to make that happen. And Elise says, hey, we had someone drop out. I was on her radar because we were in touch. And she said, someone was going to teach a thing on networking. Could you do that? Could you step in and fill this slot? She didn't ask me what I wanted to speak about because I would have just done whatever anyone wanted me to talk about. So I said, sure. And I quickly whipped together a presentation
About
on,
networking.
I did not have one. I just said, let me think about it because literally this is how it works. And I went in not an expert. I didn't have a book on networking. And I'm saying this because I went in and taught it how I know it. I put networking through the lens of my life to that point and taught it. That's Elise's magic too. But Elise didn't hand me it and then make my life for me, right? You give me an opportunity, I'm going to run with it. And I did. And my goal has always been, please, Elise, make her happy, make sure I make her look good, and make sure that because she was helping me rise to a new level. That's what we should all do for each other. And she's
And
certainly
actually, that is a perfect segue to the big one of the big ideas that I want to
that.
share today, which is this. I want y'all to start the year knowing this. You have no idea what your potential is for this year and beyond. You have no idea how far you can take your business, how far you can take yourself, what people will give you the platform to do. But I find that we limit ourselves right off the bat, right out of the gate. You say, I don't have this or I don't know that. And I want to say, who cares, right? We are focusing on what you have, not on what you don't have. And when I say on what we have, I'm actually especially talking about relationships. And when it comes to relationships, it's really the little things that matter the most because your clients, they don't know good writing, they don't know good design, they can't value the quality of what you're delivering usually, but they do know and they are an expert in how they are treated. I also think we want to not look at every single relationship, every single networking opportunity as what am I going to get out of this one, right? Because this is another thing that you just don't know. You can't know. And Terri had no idea when we first met that I would have an opportunity. I didn't even know I had that opportunity that I would be able to share with her.
You don't go in ringing relationships for what they can get you. And the people who do that to you, you can smell them a mile away.
Right.
But it's about like what it is literally fun. It is, and I know you must know this, it's fun to feed those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
What you're grateful for, you feed. My cats are very well fed for that reason. I want to feed the things that have the chance to grow. Sometimes it's just telling someone that you are thinking of them
Mm-hmm.
now. I mean, that you're wondering how they are. It doesn't have to be a pitch or a proposal. It's like to touch the relationships often is what keeps them sort of warm. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be like a huge thing.
And actually, that's a perfect segue to my second big idea because we want to start the year with momentum, structure, and quick wins. And when I say quick wins, I don't necessarily mean a client because you can't control that when you get a client. A
Right.
quick win is something that you can control. And so, for example, it's these little things that you can do in a relationship. I just have a list of a few things that I wanted to share. So, the first is to make a list of who you haven't been in touch with in a while and essentially just reach out and say, Happy New Year. You could do it with email, you could do it on a postcard, you could do it in a LinkedIn message, but just reach out simply to say Happy New Year. You don't have to ask for anything. You don't have to worry that they want something from you, that you want something from them. Number two is I want you to reach out to anyone you know who is in or close to LA and see how they are doing as well. Because there may be people in your network and you don't even know it who are struggling right now. And it's really, even if they don't respond, just to say, I'm thinking of you. And then the third, this comes from a client I was talking to yesterday, and she said, I'm reaching out to people on LinkedIn and I'm telling them exactly this. I made a New Year's resolution to stay in closer touch with everyone I know in biotech. That happened to be the industry that she's in, but it could be any industry. And so that means you. How are you? Any big goals for the year? Any projects I can help with? If you notice the any projects I can help you with is kind of buried, hidden. Your call to action is hidden in the how are you doing? This is my New Year's resolution. So it's not as overt. And I'm thinking you might be more comfortable sharing it in that way.
I realize if I talk to people and I'm not afraid to be a little more vulnerable and open and not feel like I have to be this performative, like, oh, I've got everything together. Like, that's the hard part is can you really share? Like, here's where I'm struggling. Here's what I really wish I knew someone who did that. Trust me, they're going through their Rolodex of like, oh, who can I reach out to? Because what makes us feel good is that we did something to help someone. So when someone puts a problem in front of you and you can solve it, you know you would, and so would someone else for you.
And I think the rule here also is it's never too late to follow up, right? A lot of people use that as an excuse. Oh, the thing already happened, or it's a new year, but it's really never too late to follow up. Awesome. Thank you so much, Terri, for being here with us today. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Antonio. Thanks, all y'all. Bye, y'all.